noises coming out of Mercedes this weekend. How do you assess that? You got amongst the Red Bulls with George.
Yeah, I think we have done a solid step into Barcelona. You're trying to keep your expectations at a realistic point, and I think where we slotted in today is somehow the best we could have expected.
Best you could have expected, but I wonder, do you think with the developments that you've made on the car, is that going to suit the race better than qualifying, do you think?
Yeah, my belief is that we have a race car more than a qualifying car. But we're going to see tomorrow how it went for the other ones. I think with Red Bull, they always had the tendency of being much stronger in the race, less so the Ferraris. But obviously, that's all glass ball reading.
Do you feel a sense of relief that you've got a car that performs and you'll be able to turn it around that quick? And the reason I say that is because Lewis's interview after FP2 yesterday, we saw a very different Lewis, back to how he was last year, quite happy and ready to race in a free spirit. Yeah,
he says that the car finally drives like a Formula One car. And I think this is the best feedback you can get from a racing driver.
It hasn't escaped our notice as well that George has been doing rather well. I mean, you must be quite pleased. I mean, Lewis has got his work cut out, I think, to keep him in check. And he didn't manage to do it in qualifying this time, but you must be really pleased to see that.
Yeah, very much, because you can see the next generation coming up, and the way George has integrated in the team, working with Lewis and learning from Lewis is great. So I couldn't wish for a better driver pairing. The pace is there, and that's what we have hoped.
You said tentative steps. I just wonder now, you mentioned as we came into this weekend, Toto, that you might have to make some very tough decisions were you not to find the pace that you've done. Now that you've taken a small step, what do you believe is possible from this car?
I believe that we have done a solid step, whilst we know how to unlock more performance, and we're not yet there. So it's step by step. The other teams have been able to continue to develop their car, whilst we have been a little bit in a pause moment to find out about the bouncing. So as soon as we can pick up the regular development, as soon as we understand the tires better, now the bouncing is gone, I think we will be catching up.
Do you fully understand why you've solved the bouncer? You don't expect that anywhere else?
Yeah, we understand now.
Oh, right. Okay. Can you shed any light on that for us?
Well, it's simple. It's all an aerodynamic effect that creates from a floor swinging, and it was difficult to come to that conclusion in a scientific way, but the team around Mike Elliott and Jared Murphy, they've done it, and that's great.
I suppose the final test will be when people start copying your side pods.
Yeah, I've seen some Sherlock Holmes around with a photo camera, but I don't think it's yet a car to copy.
But it is, I mean, in terms of development potential, I mean, this is why you wanted to stick with it, the zero side pod kind of thing. Do you think there's, you've got a lot of potential to develop this further than others? I mean, there was some talk that if you got it right, you'd be in the distance from Red Bull and Ferrari. Do you still think that is achievable?
No, I don't know how much gap we had. Have you got it there?
It's about 6 tenths, yeah.
6 tenths to Leclerc. I mean, this is miles away in terms of qualifying pace. So we'll see tomorrow.
At some point, do you focus on next year, or do you still think you're in the fight for this championship?
I think.
And I'm interested because you've never had that problem since you've been kind of where you are now.
Yeah, it's a very good and valid question, but I think as the regulations stay the same for next year, at a certain stage you need to ask the simple question: what is good on that car, and what do we think is not good, and what do we don't understand? And in order to make that decision for next year, we got to come to the point, as we say, we understand. And I think at the moment it's still a little bit of trying.
Thanks, Toto. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
As always, go well.